Hey folks, another video that goes into Philoso-Toe. I don't really know a better name for it. The idea if you're into my gaming and humor and entertainment stuff, probably not the best video for you, but if you're into some of the philosophy stuff that I speak of on time to time, maybe a good listen for you. Ultimately, I've been fairly, I guess, active on one of my older videos, the E Pluribus Unum, about religion and politics and why I think there needs to be that split, and going back to our original national motto of E Pluribus Unum. And I've been fairly active on that, and a couple people posted some comments, so I, countered with a few things. Ultimately, I really enjoy discussing this stuff. I find it fascinating. I find it really interesting. But I do want to stress one of the other sides of that, and it's always hard to see how you're coming across in text. So I did want to stress one very important side of it, and that is a call against the militant atheism, as it's been called, or this idea of atheist superiority intellectually. Well, I figured this out. Maybe you will one day. That's really not at all what I try to go for. My own kind of journey, I guess, so to speak. I was raised Christian. I even went to a Catholic college. I was more for the scholarship, but that was still kind of my, I guess it was around those years that I was starting to really kind of question things more and more. And what did it for me was the questioning, I guess, was unsatisfactory answers. Being a computer programmer guy and a computer-minded person, I tend to think very, I don't want to say logically or rationally, like that, religion is illogical or something like that. I tend to think, though, I always try and think why something doesn't work. Perhaps any other programmers out there, anyone else, might understand what I'm saying there, is that when you're writing an algorithm or something, you try and pick the pieces that don't work, especially when you have a big, long program and you have a question about something, what's going on here, you try and break pieces apart layer by layer. And so I don't take atheism, so to speak, as this, I know what the answer is, because I certainly don't. I take it, I don't think any real thinking atheist, so to speak, and I even hate naming it, branding it, so to speak, like that. The hell was that? There's a very large kabang. Sorry. I don't even like thinking of atheism in this way, of being classified as something. No really thinking person, I guess, would say that there is no God for sure. I know for sure there is no God. What someone might say is that there hasn't been enough proof set forward for me to live my life as if there is one. And so I choose to live my life as if there isn't one, until such time as, that changes. So that's one thing to think about. In terms of not trying to let yourself get pinned to absolutes. And the reason I would say a call against this militant atheism, I understand certain things are unfair. I think it's kind of ridiculous that I don't think an atheist could ever really be elected to a presidency role. That's just kind of how it is. Unfortunately, there's too many people that feel, and even that I kind of find is a silly idea. Most of it comes down to morality. That an atheist can't have morals, which I think is completely hogwash. Just really doesn't fit at all. But I mean, the important part is that never being that guy. If you have doubts, if you are an atheist, never being that guy who someone you sneeze, someone says bless you. Who bless me? Poseidon? Don't spaghetti monster? No, don't be that guy. Smile and thanks. That's ultimately, if you want to bridge these gaps, if you want to put forward great intellectual talk and great discussion, you're not going to do it by trying to piss people off. Now, there's certainly going to come to times, and even myself, I get a little bit annoyed when it's this air of superiority, that no matter what good you do in this world, no matter how great you act, you're still going to burn in eternal hellfire. And me, even though I would say, I haven't done as many good deeds as you because I've repented and gone to Jesus. I'm going to be saved and you're going to be killed. You know, I can understand why that annoys you, but I would also stress try not to get militant even at those points. Try and get to friendly points with that of just little retorts, little, questions on it. Question the person deeper as to why they think this way, why they feel this way, how this makes sense. And ultimately, that's really what we all want, isn't it? We're all looking for a greater truth. We're all looking for something in life that, simple answers, complex answers, we're all just looking for some type of knowledge. I also give an open invitation to anyone on, as I said, I love talking about this stuff. So I give an open invitation to anyone in private messages or something like that, if have any questions on it or anything like that. But I would say there is a real joy and a real experience in allowing yourself to think different ways, allowing yourselves to think in, open ways. Especially, as I said, I was raised Christian, and so kind of thinking some of these things just didn't make sense. And eventually, you start thinking other things, and, do you start feeling guilty? Do you not? Do you start feeling guilty about doubting it? And the truth of it is that you really can't. That we are inquisitive creatures by nature. That's how we've gotten to where we are in this world, is we're very inquisitive creatures. So don't try and push that down. And I feel that's what a lot of people try to do on both sides. The simple answer to it is don't be a dick. Don't be an ass. There are plenty of extremely, extremely intelligent religious folk out there. Francis Collins, I believe, the director of the Human Genome, is a religious man, and is incredibly bright, incredibly intelligent. Would throw, in a science competition, so to speak, and I understand that's even a little bit of an odd thing, would throw so many people, completely aside with his incredible intellect. So that there needs to be an approach of humility to any of it. And there needs to be an openness to at least listen. And the problem is that for every asshole, militant religious folk out there, there's also someone who's quietly found some solace in it, and it's helped them to come over a deep, hurting time. It's helped them to do better with their life. Whether they stay religious or not, it doesn't matter. I think what we're all looking for is people doing good in the world. I don't think that there's ever going to be too much of that. And the motivation of it doesn't necessarily matter so much. You could say, well, look how much the religions have hurt the gay agenda. There are plenty of Christians out there who support the gay agenda and homosexual marriages. Lumping them all together is the problem. Is generalization is what leads to so many of these problems anyway. And it's generally the loud, minority that's given the attention. The squeaky wheel gets oil, yada yada. It's the loud minority who gives a bad reputation to the silent majority. So again, I guess I just felt like talking for a little while before going to bed, musing some thoughts, and throwing some stuff out there. I'm more than happy to talk about really any of this stuff. I've spent countless hours listening to Hitchens debates, reading plenty of different philosophers, and musing over bottles of Scotch cigars and with friends. So I really enjoy doing this type of stuff. The only thing that I feel tends to get awkward in it is I tend to get people angry with some of the questioning, and it's really never meant to be. Giving you an example, I won't use names or anything like that. There was a private message conversation I was having with someone where someone had said that the ultimate purpose of life, of human life, is to praise this superior being of God. I brought up a couple points against that. I said, but one of the problems I see is that if this is the ultimate purpose, why are there so many people that can't? What about those born with Down syndrome that simply won't have the mental capacity to ever do this? How is that? Is their creation just failed? Was that? But that doesn't seem to fit. And I was told that that was very funny to comment because I'm just a step above the people with Down syndrome. So generally, I find that when I start throwing in certain counterpoints, I'm insulted, and it doesn't get me mad. I guess I've spent too many years on the internet to get mad. It's stuff like that. I don't get any threat of, well, you're going to hell. Okay, it just doesn't hit me. So again, folks, if you ever feel like chatting, either side, I'm more than happy to talk with, communicate with. If any of my points here you don't feel were really expressed perfectly, or you feel like I may have skimmed over something here, I'm happy to talk to anyone on it. But that's where I think I would want to conclude stuff on, is that really the way that the truth of it is we're all looking to try and live together better and promote as much good, promote as much help to each other as we can. And I don't think any of that comes from trying to split ourselves in moral or intellectual superiorities based on such little tiny things. Religion or lack thereof can certainly be viewed as a large thing, but at the end of the day, the kid in the hospital doesn't care who raised the money for the charity. He's grateful to have a better chance. So I'll leave it at that, folks. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to any comments. Cheers, folks.